Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I'm Greg. I'm going to go over the primarily today right now here Bitcoin, and been keeping up with the media a little bit, paying attention to some stuff. And by the way, drop a like, hit the subscribe button, be greatly appreciated. But you know, the SilverGate, the FUD, and everything that's going on, guys. In my opinion, just looking at that, all that's going to do is scare people out of positions, keep people from going into the cryptocurrency market, and probably miss buying things near the bottom and end up buying them more closer to the top, because that's how the news cycle works. So I'm not concerned about Silvergate, guys. I don't even want to discuss it. It's not a big deal to me. So that was like kind of not unexpected. I actually have Silvergate's chart in my list, and just looking at the chart, guys, a weekly chart, I saw this info over here. I said there's probably going to be problems with this bank. Just looking at it in my mind and going, there's probably going to be problems sometime with this banks in the future. And it happened. So I wasn't too concerned with it. It wasn't even a surprise to me, guys. So going over the DXY, the DXY looks good, guys. Still in a, let me go to a 12-hour chart. Still in an uptrend, a corrective uptrend. And did it finish right there? That's the question of the day. It could have, guys, but don't be surprised if there's one more shot up. Okay, that will put pressure on the markets a little bit. Maybe the S&P 500's got to correct. It went up quite a bit yesterday on Friday, and it'll go up a little bit more, and S&P 500 do a correction. So that looks good. And going down, I'm going to go down to the S&P 500. It bounced right in the target area. Kind of went a little bit lower than I expected, but not a big deal. And it bounced right out of there really, really clean and strong. And same thing with the Dow Jones Industrial. The Dow Jones Industrial, in my opinion, guys, if it didn't get down to 32.3, 32.2, and that's it, that's actually very bullish for the Dow Jones, in my opinion. So they look good. Now, Bitcoin. I'm going to go over Bitcoin. I'm just going to use the line chart for the time being. Just to get some clarity. I go back and forth between the line chart and the candles, because sometimes the candles with all the wicks doesn't give you clarity on wave structure, even though there's some that prefer to count all the wicks. I don't at times, but I'm looking at Bitcoin and this correction that it's doing right now, guys. Okay. Right there at that spot where you see my finger, in my opinion, Bitcoin is in a fourth wave. So it's kind of going sideways. I think it's making a triangle in there. We'll dig a little bit deeper into that. But in my opinion, this is a three-wave move that Bitcoin is doing right here. Okay. In the box area, I'm expecting that area from pretty much taking a closer look at that 22.1, 21.9-ish, 21.7-ish, maybe a wick down to 21.8 potentially in that area for a bounce. Okay, once it's done with that wave right there. But if you take the wave structure on this right here, the wave from here to here is closer to a 1-to-1. You really want to see the third wave. If this was going to be impulsive down, you'd want to see this wave get 1.618, the length of times of the first wave. And in my opinion, I just don't think it's going to make it, guys. So you can see on my fib targets, a 1-to-1 is about right in the middle of the box. Okay. And that's a fourth wave, probably coming up more, a little bit more potentially, or sideways more, and a drop back down to 21.9. Okay. For this to be impulsive, it really needs to reach all the way down to these areas, guys, at 1.618. In my opinion, that's a three-wave structure. That's a bullish correction. There's no issue with this right now. It's a nice three-wave move, up in a move, back in a three-wave move, maybe come back down here and get testing even the 21.4 areas in that for Bitcoin, guys. So it looks pretty good. The wave structure, the pattern that's going on with it, you know, there's some negatives you want to pay attention to on Bitcoin, is that the trend that it started, it did break that right there. Okay, that's not a good signal. But that signal could be telling us that this wave here was the whole third wave, okay? So, or the argument would be this is a first wave of a fifth wave. But right now, just looking at this, in my opinion, you might have a good shot that this here was a third wave from here. This is just a third wave extension right here that it just decided to bust off. So you got, you know, because you have multiple, the issue is right here, guys. You have multiple little corrections in here, and we're to count this and get this exactly right is going to be very, very difficult for the time being. Nobody's going to really know. It's just really a guess. But you could have had like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay, and then back here's 1, 2, 3, 4, and potentially or from right here, excuse me, I did that wrong. A 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for this whole wave. And then from here, it goes down actually a little bit farther, a wick down a little bit more, a 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is a 5, making this whole thing the third wave right here, guys, from this point to this point. And then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's kind of where I'm going towards with that, guys, right now with Bitcoin. And then just going to see where it wants to maintain on this. Everything in the RSI data on the lower time frames, you take a look at it. Let me clean this up for you a little bit, and I'll show you here on the just on the 8-hour chart. You know, you have that wave up sequence, and it's coming down into oversold territory on the 8-hour. I checked the 4-hour too. I checked the 2 hours. I check all these different time frames, and this here is telling me that Bitcoin is more than likely making a full-blown correction, a 3-wave correction down here, guys. Okay, so on the 4-hour, more than likely, if it gets down there even a little bit more, it might not. Then you're probably going to have at least an uptrend in this area, just based on that RSI data. You can even look at the stocks down here in the 4-hour. It's down really low, so it's getting ready in this area to have a reversal, in my opinion, guys. So like the 21. Halfway to the box, the 22, 21.9-ish is the area. The 2-hour chart, you can see deep into oversold territory. It's telling you on the stocks down here that this is a corrective move because it didn't go very far, but it's high in the stochastic RSI. More than likely, in this 2-hour come back around and it'll come back down to oversold territory again. Okay, so everything looks pretty good for Bitcoin, guys. I'm not really too concerned with it. I'm not worried about the FUD. All that's going to do, and all that has done since June of 22 has prevented people from actually buying the lows in this area. If you're really bullish on Bitcoin, which I'm bullish on Bitcoin, I don't have most of my holdings in Bitcoin because I'm not looking for a 2x. Okay, I'm looking for 5x's, 10x's, and maybe even 20x's. A couple good examples of that are Caspa coin. Okay, and I'll go over Caspa coin in more detail, but Caspa coin could bring you might have an entry coming up for Caspa, guys, if you're not in it yet. But in this area, and then this likely is going to be another opportunity for anybody who wants to get into Bitcoin in this area. It could be it before they miss this potential next move. So based on the data, the DXY, the S&P 500, the traditional financial markets, and everything's going on, short term, potentially more downside, but probably now, just look at time sequence, somewhere going into the middle of March, the correction should be over and start probably seeing something more like that. These levels, Bitcoin is not a concern until it starts breaking 21.6, guys. Okay, I know the bears are back in town thinking that this is the start of some sort of massive dump over here. The signals are not pointing towards a massive dump. They're not. Okay, not yet. If you made it all the way to the end, do me a huge favor, drop a like, hit the subscribe button. Peace.